DJ Ash Noble here. Welcome back to another stream. So we've got another gig announcement today, and I will also give you another really good bike update as well. And I'll be doing some bike related stuff on the channel. Nothing major, but I'm just gonna do just a few little. I might do a little live stream where I'm sort of with the bike and it's parked up, and just do a few little bike videos and stuff like that, but nothing over the top. We are a music related channel. I don't want to start making it a bike orientated channel. I have been thinking about potentially opening another YouTube channel that will be for motorbike content, and it'll be more just for not just motorbike content, but it will kind of be more just for anything that isn't kind of like music related. So it could be like any funny videos, any funny sketches, the motorbike stuff, and just anything in general really, that could just become like quite a cool little hub, just for people to watch a little bit sort of a different side of me, as opposed to DJing the next gig. And then of course this channel will just kind of run as it always does. So we have a gig announcement, and this one is an exciting gig, and this one is actually a mind-blowing 2025 gig. So I remember last year, and it was coming up to sort of like November, December time, and we started to get a few bookings in for 2024, and I was quite buzzed. I was excited, like wow, because one thing that always worries me kind of as a DJ, as somebody who kind of like I'd say at this point actively works within the music scene. I take bookings, and all the rest of it. I think for me personally, oh, 2 secs. Okay, my deepest apologies on that. I got a phone call. So, yeah, as I was saying, yeah, I remember. So, like, a worrying thing as like a DJ is for me when you get to the end of the year, it's kind of worrying, like what's gonna be next. You've just had this year where you've done some really cool things. You've done some really good bookings. You've played some really good clubs. But what if next year just is nothing? What if you come into next year and all of a sudden people aren't wanting you, people aren't booking you? I mean, you can obviously do loads of things to try and prevent that. But for me, that has always been a little bit of a worry, that we sort of come into a new year and just sort of everything changes, and all of a sudden you're not getting booked for things anymore. So when I got them bookings last year, sort of for 2024, it was a real buzz knowing that I was going into the new year with some bookings under my belt, with some things in the pipeline. That was obviously a really cool, it was obviously a really good thing. So to be sort of into September of this year, to have a morning, to have a gig to announce for 2025 is absolutely crazy. So in 2025, I have been invited to play the second edition of a Night of Trance. So a Night of Trance is put together by two of my friends. One of them owns the Fusion nightclub in Grimsby. The other one is a DJ himself. He's part of a duo, and he also runs a brand called Reflection. And Reflection and Fusion have kind of teamed up to put these nights on, called a Night of Trance. So the launch night took place about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was an absolutely belting night. They had Signum headlining, and that was absolutely amazing. Signum's obviously known for being a big part of like trance anthems, and he did a lot of stuff with Tidy Tracks, and he was well known for his tracks What You Got For Me and Coming On Strong, which was, they were a big sort of highlight in his career. He was very big in the 90s, So it was great to have him down. And they had to start thinking about the second night. The first night did well. Of course, of course they want to do it again. Why wouldn't they want to do it again? When it's done so well. So they put the motion in to swing for the swing into motion for putting the next event on, and I'm excited to be playing the next one on the 1st of March 2025. We've got DJs Lange headlining, and we've got Chucky. Lange is obviously a massive part of Trance Anthems. His well-known track "Follow Me," signed to the mighty Positiva label. The Positiva label, for me, is one of the, when I think of like trance, and there was so many great tracks, that were kind of trance belters that were kind of signed to that label. Motorcycle as the Rush comes. You had things like Watergate, Heart of Asia. That was a big one. Then there was things like the Lasgo tracks. Lasgo something, Lasgo alone, and some absolutely belting trance tunes, obviously, onto the Positiva label. So that label for me growing up was a massive label, and to be to be playing alongside Lange, on the same lineup as such a legend is really for me, something that, for me, it's just one of them like real kind of like dream. Not, I don't want to say dream come true, because Lange is one of many big DJs that I followed sort of growing up, and I never really had what you would really call a favorite DJ. There was just loads of DJs that I liked. There was some that I liked more than others, but I never liked anybody enough that they were my absolute favorite. It was just, there was that many. It was so hard to pick a favorite, but they've all done amazing things in their music career. So this is the guy off the news who tried to. Okay, let's go. Let's get rid of the first person in today's stream. I don't know. I have not been on the news, so I don't even like the news, let alone being on it. So that guy can go. See you later, pal. Yeah. So I've looked up to these people. So to be on the same lineup as them is obviously, it's a truly good feeling in that sense, and I can't wait, obviously, for the night to go down and take place. So it's a bit early in the day yet. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know. I think. Do you know what? I think I do know my set time actually, and I think it might have been somewhere around 10 o'clock. But I'll let you know a bit more nearer the time. It's a bit early in the day yet. I know they told us to set times early because they just wanted to get everything sorted, which I thought was a really really good thing. But I just can't fully remember it. I was on maybe something like second or third of the night, but I'm really looking forward to it. And as terms as like the set goes, and what I've kind of planned for the set, I haven't really. I've done more like planning in my mind, so I've had a little think in my mind what type of set, trance set am I going to give them, and the conclusion that I've come to is I want to do kind of like a classic trance set, but all the tunes are remixes of the classics. So I want to play like Motorcycle as the Rush comes, York on the Beach, Paul Van Dyke for an Angel. I want to play all them trance tracks that really inspired me when I was growing up. Paul Van Dyke, We Are Alive, the Space Brothers, Forgiven, CRW, I Feel Love, York, The Awakening, Matt Darey, Marcella Woods, Beautiful, just absolute corkers, Isla, Bellissima, I mean, I could name so many, Heart of Asia. I want to do some absolute belting trance remixes of classics, and kind of bring that kind of like Kevin and Perry sort of styled set, but kind of do it with like all the tracks being, like modern remixes. So I think that will, be absolutely fantastic. I can't wait. So I'm gonna, spend sort of the next sort of, October, November, December, January, February. So sort of the next 6 months, just sort of looking, for some, some really good sort of remixes of trance classics. But speaking of trance classics, we have, I've got this here on vinyl. This is Positiva Classics, and this has some trance on it. So this has Brain Bug, Nightmare, the Sinister Strings mix. So that again is something that, really, really classic, really, really good track. But I've probably got loads, if I look in and sort of around the collection. What's this one? That's a house track. But yeah, there's probably loads. So like I'll have to obviously, I'll have to do me digging, and I want some real like really good sort of like future sort of modern sort of trance sounds, but remixes of the classics. So let's go, let's do it. So that's the gig. Everything is all absolutely exciting. Everything is all buzzing. So I'll give you a little bit of a bike update before we leave the stream. I've got a gig today, and we've got the Tunes for Charity. I announced that one a couple of weeks ago. That is taking place today. I've got to pack all my equipment up and stuff and get sorted. So I won't keep you for too long. But good news on the bike front. So I think last time we did a stream, I think we, if I remember rightly, I gave you a quick update on, it was either Sunday or Monday, just to say that I'd passed my my CBT test, and that I was hoping to get on the road this week. And the good news is that I am on the road. I have been on the road. I've been riding the bike on the road. So if you follow me on social media, especially Instagram, you'll know that I've had the bike on the road. So on Tuesday, I went to my mate's house sort of around 3 o'clock time in the afternoon, to pick the bike up where it had been stored. So I was all insured, I was all taxed, So I went to his, got on a bus, my helmet, my jacket, took it there. Just did a couple of minor little things to the bike. We just had to basically connect the battery back on. Because it had been stood for a while, we decided to disconnect the battery, just so it did, like, the battery didn't run flat. So we did that. So we just, connected the battery back on. Just did a quick test of everything. So we went round and we just checked, like, are the lights working? Are the indicators working? Does the horn beep? Does the hazards come on? Can we switch between high beam and low beam? When we press the brake lever in, do the brake lights light up, and all the rest of it? Does it start up? And just sort of doing general checks really before I go off onto the road for the first time. And then my friend said, you don't think I'm going to let you ride off on your own, do you? So he had a ride with me. We came back here, and had the first ride, which I've got to say, the first ride was, in all honesty, it was a horrible ride. And that's nothing against the bike. It wasn't, that I wasn't happy being on the road and stuff. It was, I'd picked the bike up at sort of like 3 o'clock, just after. So by the time I'd kind of gone to my mate's house, and we, sort of connected the battery, it was getting on towards tea time. And if you don't live in Hull, when you get to sort of tea time, you get really bad traffic in Hull, where a lot of the streets, especially near the city centre, they go into what's called gridlock. And like all the traffic's like stop start, and you've got buses, you've got lorries, you've got vans, you've got cars, you've got cyclists, you've got motorcyclists, and you've got every kind of vehicle you can really think of on the road. Apart from obviously, things like army tanks, obviously. But you get every kind of, more or less like just everyday sort of vehicle on the road, sort of, leaving work kind of thing. So we were kind of stop start a little bit, and we kind of got separated among the journey, which wasn't the best. And then it was just, we got to mine, um, got off the bike and everything, and then looked at the time, and then realised I had to shoot for a work meeting. So it was more or less straight back on the bike, back out into the traffic to go to this work meeting, which wasn't as bad going to the work meeting. It was still fairly bad, but it wasn't like mega bad. Got to the work meeting, and then after the work meeting, I decided to go for a proper ride because obviously, I was excited. I'd just got the bike. It was exciting. It was new to me. After not being on the road for so long, and it was just a little bit of excitement. And then had a little ride, and it was good because there wasn't there wasn't really any traffic about by this point. It had all kind of died off, so we were the roads were a lot more quieter. I could get sort of riding a little bit more, so I just stayed a little bit local because it was my first night. I didn't want to go too far. I was still kind of just making sure the bike was all right, and everything was all fine and gravy with it. And then just essentially, after that, it got quite dark, so I thought I ain't going to stay out too long. Again, it's my first night, don't want to push it. And then yesterday, I got it out, rode to get some fuel. I put a fiver's worth of fuel in and had a little bit of an issue at the petrol station through a fault of mine, my own fault, and I was just completely stupid. So basically, I woke up, and my plan was after work was I was going to take it on a bit more of a proper ride and go and visit the grandparents. So there was a bit of fuel, there was some fuel in the tank, and my speedo was showing about 2-3 bars, which in hindsight I think could have got me to Driffield, but I wasn't certain. And I thought, you don't always know like if there's anything faulty with like what the display saying on the screen. I know when I had my NSR, the fuel gauge didn't work. It stopped working. So you've always got to be a bit wary. So I thought, oh, I'll go and just put a fiver's worth of fuel in. And it's right near my payday, so I'm quite skint. But I thought I'll have a fiver in the bank just to put a fiver's worth of fuel in. So I go to the filling station, fill up my fiver, and go to the till, and of course the card declines. And it turns out that I actually don't have a fiver in the bank. So I had to ring my dad. The only thing I could really think of to see if he could transfer just a little bit of money, so I could pay the fuel guy. He was out on work, so he couldn't just transfer it. He had to go and find a post office to do this. So he went to a post office, he put me a tenner in. So I thought, all right, yeah, cool. I'll get, card still declines. Why, it's still not working. Turns out I was actually overdrawn in the account, and I needed to put around 40 quid in the account, to be able to get the fuel essentially, because it was overdrawn. So I needed to make the amount right. So I had to ring my dad up. He'd left the post office. He'd gone on towards another job, and he had to turn back around. So he wasn't the best pleased. It made me a few minutes late for work. When in hindsight, I didn't really need to fuel up. It was more just I'm gonna go on a little trip, so I'll just put a little bit in to make sure. And that was literally it. So yeah, that was kind of the thing. So that was a little bit annoying. And then I rode to work. It was parked at work all day. And then I gave it a ride to my nan's after work, which is about 21 miles away out of Hull, country roads. Gave the bike a really, really good ride, and I had the most fun ever. Like I think riding bikes is kind of for me. I love my DJing, I love my music, so I think riding bikes is on par of like one of my favorite things to do. Um, you know, um, Sort of one of my favourite things to do among going behind the decks and playing music and having a mix and stuff. So it was really good. Yes, I am from the UK. I am UK born and bred. So I had a really good ride. Took some country roads. Got to really max the bike out. Um, but yeah, absolutely fine. Really loved it. Just really good to hit the open road. Actually, it's quite a nippy bike. I was before I got the bike, I was watching videos on it, and they were saying like, it's not really a fast bike. It's really meant to be like it's a mix between like an off-road bike and a commuting bike. Um, so I was kind of like, oh, I've got something here that's not really going to go that fast. And in all honesty, my bike goes quite quick. I'm happy with it. So, when I was coming back from visiting my grandparents, I had about 64 out of it. And for me, I mean, national speed limit is 60. So I'd gone over just a little bit, going down a bit of a slope. Um, but for me, like that is enough for me personally. Like that is only what, like 6 miles off being able to keep up, like do the speed limit on a motorway. So for me, that for me is enough. It gets me from A to B. In really good time. Like I can ride somewhere and I'm not kind of like having to let cars overtake me all the time because I'm going too slow. And I can to a degree I can keep up with traffic, which is really good. And that was kind of the main. With me driving to my grandparents, that was one of the main things that I wanted. I didn't want something that was about to win a Grand Prix, but I wanted something that if I was to take it on open roads, I would be able to at least keep up with traffic, and I wouldn't just be going like mega sort of dead slow, and no cars. There was one car that overtook me, and we overtook a lorry on the dual carriageway, and I overtook this lorry, and then I turned back into my lane, and a car behind me overtook the lorry as well. But instead of coming back into our lane, he decided to carry on booting it and pass me. But apart from that, no other cars had overtaken me, which was really good. I wasn't going that slow that they needed to overtake. Liverpool. Fucking hell, mate. I'm from fucking Liverpool, like. No, I'm not from Liverpool. Not from Liverpool. I'm from the USA. Buzzing. So yes, I had a good ride. Stayed at my nan's for a bit, and then came back before it got too dark. And then just literally came back to Hull. Met my friend at radio on the bike, and then just basically rode back here and put the bike away. And we're sat here now. The next day we're sat here. Things are good. Things are fine. And yeah, everything is all groovy. So yeah, really good bike. I absolutely love it. I can't think of anything better other than my decks. They're like me. I think my two valuable things in life. Like me. Like my decks, my music, and my bike. I love the bike. I love that sense of like freedom. Like right now I could go down and jump on that bike, and if I really wanted to, I could hit the open road. And I think having that sense is just really good. I can wake up on a Sunday and think, do you know what, I'm gonna go for a little ride, and I'm gonna and just have a little Sunday ride out. That's obviously again like a really cool thing. And I think this Sunday I might do that. There's like a little biker cafe that I want to hit up, and I'm gonna have a little bit of a ride around, I think. So we'll see how we go. But anyway, I'm gonna cut from this stream. Like I say, I've got a gig today. I've got to pack some equipment up. So and I've got to get myself spruced up and kind of looking ready for the gig. So make sure to like, comment, share. We'll see you soon.